everybody. Adam fucking Howard here down at my favorite rural cemetery, filming the prototype episode of what I like to call Uncle Spanky's Room Pump, which will soon be my podcast, broadcasting on my YouTube channel, Adam F. Howard. Today, we are dissecting the setup, a book written by Dan and Paul Bilzerian, with a foreword by David Goggins, Navy SEAL. Right off the bat, I recognize Paul Bilzerian's hands all over this book. Just a note, there's almost at the end of every chapter, it's almost like a summary and a legal disclaimer kind of, I would say, absolving Dan of any said liability of any copycats trying to relive any of his moments on recreational or performance enhancing drug orgies and said material like that. Also, I did put my book out early, and maybe a little too early, because two things that I threw at Dan that were really hard, I'd call them liver shots, because I brought up the real reason why he got kicked out of his first Buds class, and I don't think he ever talked about that with anybody, and I think he was forced to either run or confront that, and he did admit to leaving base and getting a sandwich. God, I still remember when Lane said that in front of me. I thought Dan was gonna frickin' explode. Anywho, that was liver shot number one. Liver shot number two, I called out Dan for not being a team player, and speculating as to maybe that's why he got dropped at his second attempt at Buds, meaning that the enlisted mafia took care of him because he just wasn't meant to be a team guy. And I thought, well, I got kicked out of Buds. What were the two biggest things in my head? It took me almost 20 years to own up publicly as to what really happened and why I got kicked out. So now I can only assume that, Dan spending more time in that program, he might be in touch with those emotions as well. So, also, one of the things that kind of kept me from going over the edge and killing myself back then was I had 88 character reference forms filled out by classmates in 233 and 234. That really was like the thread I was clinging to for a while. So to call Dan out and say that maybe he had none of that, well, hopefully it hurt. I'd like to think it brought out a better book. And there's a lot to be digested here. It's a lengthy book. I'd say maybe 30% of it are R-rated pictures of him, living it up with his posse and his ladies of the evening, so to speak, doing greasy things, stuff I'm no stranger to. I was alive in the 90s. So it's, I haven't read all of it. I jumped around just to see how he was going to address those two main liver shots that I threw. And, well, he did get basically a photograph with one of his classmates he graduated. I forget his name, but he's a SEAL, and kind of gave him the character reference validation he probably so badly wanted. And I hope that feels good for him. Everybody needs a little validation, even Dan. So a lot of other things to take apart in this book. I wasn't really so concerned as to how I was represented. I know my presence is going to be felt in a lot of those sections, and there are parts of that book where I won't be in it at all, or any part of me will be in it at all, like his early history. I'm probably not going to read that because he told me all that stuff back when we were in the barracks before we left to go to Buds. And I guess the next big thing that I really want to tune up on the next episode of Uncle Spanky's Room Pump is Dan's roommate from his first Buds class was a very influential archetypal guy in Dan's life. I didn't actually meet him, but I did speak with him on the phone for about an hour, summer of 2002, when I was up at my friend Bill Samuel's place in Tripp Pond in Warrensburg. I was on the phone with Tom Worth discussing how to get a job as a commercial fisherman in Alaska, because he had done that as well, and that was something that I was looking to pursue.